Okay. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Tuesday edition of Morning Scone presented by Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com, Restored Motions, RestoredMotions.com, and ProCharge EV, ProChargeEV.com. All right, hope you all had an awesome start to your week. Spent the day yesterday in New Orleans, honored my Grammy who passed last week, and we had a great day, great celebration of her. But glad to be back, going to work today and back on air. So LSU baseball, back at it today against ULL, take on the Cajuns. Similar to Kentucky, a team that kind of knows what they do, right? They're fast and they will steal a lot of bases when they get on base. They did drop a series this last weekend at Troy, hitting .282 as a team. Pitching hasn't always been their strong suit, cumulative 4.20 ERA, but 105 stolen bases and 139 attempts for perspective, 139 stolen base attempts for ULL. LSU on the season has 21 stolen base attempts. So LSU is 15 for 21 on stolen bases. They're 105 of, 139, something like that. So they get on the bases, they're going to scoot. They run a lot. So we'll keep our eye on that tonight with the Cajuns. They always send us the game notes beforehand. Interestingly, though, Jay Johnson did not announce a pitching matchup. So don't know as of yet who LSU is going to start. At least not, they haven't formally, announced a starter. My guess here would be Thatcher Hurd. Back to the role he was, where he was at the beginning of the season. Christian Little had a nice outing on Saturday in Game 3. You got your nine outs to start that game, and so he's earned the opportunity to stay in that role. So I would assume Christian Little stays there, and I mean, I guess you could start Blake Money, but my guess is they go Thatcher Hurd today. Let Thatcher Hurd see if he can get you off to a good start tonight against the Cajuns. So. Again, nothing announced, but my guess is that's where they'll go. We'll see. I think LSU basketball should get good news today. I've been following that and been telling y'all there's obviously told y'all, local guys to keep an eye on, and I think LSU is going to get good news with Carlos Stewart. Maybe as early as today. But of course they've added Jordan Wright from Vanderbilt and Jalen Cook from Tulane, and they had the big 7-footer from Nevada, and I believe they're going to get Carlos Stewart. May have good news on that as early as today. So. And Stewart would be sort of the biggest one so far if they get him. So be on the lookout for that announcement. All right, we'll say some good mornings here, see what y'all got. You know the drill as always, fire away. Do us a solid if you're there on YouTube, smash that like button. Facebook, please like the page, share the post. Let's see, first question there, got a little blocked here by the pin, but it was asking about, and forgive me, I don't see your name there, but it was asking about I can probably see it here. Hang on. It was Jordan Coleman said, want to bring my family to the spring game. Any info, like price? My understanding is spring game is always complimentary. It's free to get into the spring game. And in years past, I don't know if they're still doing this, so I don't want to speak out of turn. But in years past, they've allowed people to bring in like a bottle of water as well. But usually the only money you'd spend would be for what limited concessions they have at the spring game. But let me see. Yeah, it's free. Okay. Yeah, it's free to go. Okay. Truax, good morning. Scott Barnes, Bubba Smith, Jason Austin, good morning. Jeff McKithen, Trey Potamberry Day, good morning, y'all. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Trivia Carter, Nick Newbill, good morning. Strong side, good morning, Mr. Telly. The old Sesame Street references. Jeff Hawk, good morning, dude. Good to see you there. Man, Jeff's in KC. Hope all's okay over there, man. I know there was a tragedy in Kansas City. I don't know much about it. I just saw a news report last night when I got home about it, man. Hope all's okay up there. Cody Kebido, morning, Matt. Any thoughts on the transfers men's basketball is bringing in or the ones leaving? Yeah, so the ones leaving. I mean, look, when you're losing guys from a team that were dead last in the SEC, you need to upgrade your roster. If I know you won't do this, and that's okay, I'm not telling you to, but if you were to go back and look at the morning scones or AFR from the end of the basketball season, I told you they were going to lose. They were expecting to lose 6 scholarship players. I think they're at 7 right now that have left via portal. Or maybe it's 6 in KJ Williams or 7 via portal and KJ's 8. But either way, it's not, this was expected. They were going to lose this many players. They needed to turn over the roster, right? And they're doing it, and their backcourt is already instantly better than they were a year ago. When they had Carlos Stewart, they will be for sure. And, I can't say I know much about the big kid from Nevada, excuse me. Let me get his name. I'll memorize it eventually, but guy's name is Will Baker, 7-footer from Nevada. I mean, you got a 5th-year senior who's a 7-footer. He's a 7-foot forward that can stretch the floor a little bit, step back and shoot, You didn't have that guy. You still need rim protection. I mean, you got to get athletic around the goal, but I'll tell you, your backcourt is better today than you were this past year. That's not even debatable. With Jordan Wright and Jalen Cook, and when Stewart commits or signs, you're better than you were a year ago. Absolutely. Matt Plavidal, morning, Matt. Woke up at 5 a.m. to sounds of my whole house generator kicking on. Hey, at least you got a whole house generator and no water pressure. Morning's off with a bang. Well, Matt, be grateful that you have a whole home. Let's give thanks for the positive things. You're fortunate enough to have a whole home generator. Power goes out, your generator kicks on. You're in a better position than most. So let's not start the day by focusing on the negative. Let's start the day by focusing on the positive, which is thankful that you have a whole home generator that was able to allow you to, to sleep and keep your home running, all that sort of stuff. So cheers, buddy. Let's make it a great one. Hunter Broadhead, Weston Weaver, Brian Wynn, Dalton Barnett, good morning. Hope Drew and the rest of the family are doing well. Thank you. We're doing great. Eric Wilderrotter, good morning. Thank you, man. Jason Keene, Larry Garner. Jared Esper, morning, Matt. A Train and Musso have a few things in common. A Train loves his horn and Musso loves his baseball. Well, I don't get it. Tim Godreau, Jason H. Good morning, Eric. Do you think Wes Johnson adjusts the pitching and doesn't fly as close to the sun with calls, i.e., 1-1 count, just call pipe fastball? You see, Eric. Okay. If you're gonna say 1-1 count, call a pipe fastball, as you call it. Here's my question, and you don't know the answer to this, neither do I. Is that the pitch Wes Johnson called? First of all, give me an example of when that happened. Second of all, is that the pitch he called? Or did the pitcher miss a spot? Which is very likely with this staff. You have guys that have really struggled with their command. So maybe he called an inside fastball and the pitcher missed a spot and left it over the plate and it got crushed. Like, that's a very real possibility. We don't see the catcher flash signs anymore, right? Because they all look at the wristband, which tells them pitch and location. So most of the time, if you actually want to know the answer to that, look at where the catcher sets up, where his mid is, and see if the catcher has to adjust the mitt to catch the pitch. That'll generally tell you if they missed a spot. But Eric, I'm gonna tell you something straight up, bro. If you're criticizing Wes Johnson and his ability to call pitches, you're criticizing a guy that's been one of the best pitching coaches in college and was a major league pitching coach. I'm not exactly going to be on board with you with that. It feels like you're taking a teensy-tiny sample of something you didn't like and try to extrapolate it over an entire season or entire career and draw some wide sweeping conclusion, and I don't think that that's actually very on point at all. Wendell Norman, Scott Loom, what's going on? What do you think about Arkansas's rings? Okay. So I saw it last night on Twitter. Arkansas made a video releasing their Liberty Bowl rings. Arkansas beat Kansas, I think, in overtime in the Liberty Bowl. Okay. I have no problem whatsoever with teams getting bowl rings. None. It has happened forever. I remember Jeremy Hill used to laugh about having an Outback Bowl ring from 2013 when they beat Iowa. Well, when did Iowa? Anyway, so I have no problem whatsoever with bowl rings. A lot of times, the championship rings for the bowl are part of the bowl experience, right? Like the bowl game will give the teams, the participants or the champions, like rings. These aren't Super Bowl rings. They're more like class rings, right? Not going to be worth a ton. Just a memento of the game, right? So it would be totally hypocritical to crush Arkansas for having Liberty Bowl rings when I am certain LSU has rings from past bowl games that they won that are not championship games. Okay. The problem is when you put together a Liberty Bowl ring sort of like hype video, for lack of a better phrase, and put it out there thinking like, oh, this is going to do really well. You're not reading the room. Like, you have to know you're going to get crushed for that. So that's sort of, I guess, the point or the problem, if you want to put it that way. Anyway. Tim Gotra, hope to see the pitchers trusting their stuff throwing strikes. Brian Wynn, Matt, any estimate on a time frame for NCAA to announce sanctions against basketball? No. It's been years. Why would I believe that there's a time frame? Reed Rule, good morning. One of my favorite ULL moments was Shambra walking them off in the Super Regionals. Absolutely. There was Matt Heath staring in the dugout, rounding third base at the old box. That was awesome. The Shambra homer, I was at a UFC event in New Orleans. That was my bachelor party. Wait. No. So I did go to UFC New Orleans, my bachelor party, but that was a different UFC in New Orleans. That was when Sean Jordan knocked out Derek Lewis in New Orleans that night. Was that 2015? 2015. June 7, 2015. 2015. Cliff Nelson, good morning. Shane Carver, good morning. Is there a player you'd love the Saints to draft this year? Yes, Bryce Young. I don't think it's going to happen, though. At 29, if we're thinking like realistic, who's available, all that stuff, I'm thinking best defensive lineman available. So I'd probably say Brian Breesy from Clemson, who was a really good player and this year dealt with a personal tragedy with his sister's death during the season and an injury. So that's probably caused him to fall. If you were to go back preseason and look at some, way too early mock drafts, that's probably a guy that was, mocked in the top 10. So I think you could get great value with Brian Breesy at 29. That'd probably be my pick. Chase Livingston would love to have seen the title of this episode, LSU versus UL at L. Or just spell it out, the University of Louisiana at Lafayette. I can do that. Jason Keene, I find it funny that Efton Reed is in the transfer portal. Wish he lived up to the 5-star status. Jason, Efton Reed has an undeniable skill set for a 7-footer with soft hands. He needs to get stronger and continue to develop at this level for sure. But yeah, it's not exactly how many thought it would go. Let's see. Bailey C, good morning. Ray Langlois, hope all's going well. Smash that like button if you would, please. If you're there on YouTube, just take a quick second, smash the like button. If you're new, subscribe up to the channel. Facebook, please like the page, share the post. Jump back over here to Facebook. Bart St. Germain, good morning, Dad. Good morning. Barry, Dad, changed my mind daily. Who you got the Saints picking first and second rounds? I've said it. I've been pretty consistent here, Barry. Give me a defensive lineman at 29 and give me best player available at 40. I mean, it could be a running back. It could be a tight end. It could be a receiver. It could be an interior offensive lineman. It could be a defensive lineman. It could be a linebacker, safety. I'm really good at 29. I'm in at 40. Just give me a defensive lineman. Give me a defensive lineman at 29. Earl, good morning. Any update on injuries? I've told y'all I'd be very surprised if Shores or Edwards pitches again this year. We'll wait till later in the week for an update on Dugas, but I anticipate he's going to play. Like, he was pushing to play on Saturday. So I would anticipate he'll play against Ole Miss. I don't know that we see him tonight. I don't know. I'm telling you, I don't know if he'll play tonight. I wouldn't play him tonight. I'd let him rest and play him Friday against Ole Miss if he's ready. And then I don't have an update on Kling's hamstring. Lawrence Burley, good morning. Darren Gagnon, good morning. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Any prediction versus Ole Miss? 2 out of 3, 3 out of 3. Darren, I'm never going to predict a sweep, man. I know some of y'all have done that here this year and different series, and y'all, it is very hard to sweep. Very hard. It's darn near impossible to sweep when you don't have 3 solid starting pitchers you can trust. And LSU don't have that right now. Ty Floyd in Game 2 has been erratic, and you really don't have a Game 3 guy. Maybe Christian Little develops into that role. Had a good start last week, but unraveled in the 4th. You've got to consider that, right? So, I think LSU goes to Ole Miss and wins 2. Rick Manuel, good morning. Let's see, Earl Matt, with the speed up of the pitch clock, do you think that could cause more injuries to pitchers? No. There's nothing to suggest that at all. I mean, literally nothing to suggest that at all. So, I mean, this is basically the pace baseball was played at for 100 years until about 20 years ago when everything started moving as slow as molasses. So, if anything, I'd argue to the contrary. When things slow down is when you start seeing more arm injuries, but that has more so to do with young kids breaking balls at younger ages and overthrowing and all these tournaments and all that sort of specialization, all that sort of stuff. Deborah Coward, good morning. Thank you very much. Kelly Gross, good morning. Jason Austin, how about Arkansas basketball racking up the transfer portal? Hey man, Musselman's a great coach and he's got something to sell. I mean, this is 3 straight years now they've gone to the second weekend of the tournament. So, he's a good coach and he's got a lot to sell. So, and they're committed there to basketball. All right, 7:54. A couple more minutes here, y'all. Ray Langlois, good morning. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it, man. Ray Langlois had several friends who had Cotton Bowl rings. Extremely proud of them. Yeah, man. Bowl rings are a very common thing. Like, everybody gets bowl rings. That's fine. And I'm fine with Arkansas getting Liberty Bowl rings. I am. Putting like a hype video about the ring on Twitter is the thing that's going to get you crushed. And they deserve it. Joel Lensminger, good morning, Matt. It's a good day to give little brother a noogie. Yeah, Matt Heath. Low from USFL Network. Okay. Morning, Matt. Did you watch New Orleans Breakers this weekend? If so, any thoughts? No. No, I didn't. Went to dinner with my family on Sunday and happened to look up in the restaurant and the Breakers were on TV. But I cannot tell you that I watched any of the game. The thing that I've said often, and my general feeling on it is, the things that I'm going to spend my free time watching are the things that I'm going to be talking about on air. Saints, Pels, LSU football, basketball, baseball. Outside of that, it's going to be really tough to it would have to be like the women's basketball team making a run, to the national championship. Mention of gymnastics in the 4 on the floor. You know what I mean? It would have to be something like that. So the Breakers just aren't going to get coverage because there's not interest. And I'm not going to spend part of my weekend watching a game that I'm not going to talk about on air if I'm not personally interested in. If the day comes and the Breakers are a thing that is this giant craze and everybody's locked into the roster and games, and then sure, yeah, then I'll talk about it. But CK, what's going on? Strong side, best minor league nickname, Montgomery Biscuits. Just throw one out there. Or the whatever Cyclone, so we can play Cyclone during Tigers and the Pros. Becky Harrod, updates on Garrett and Shores. Just actually said that maybe not even 5 minutes ago, but yeah, I don't expect they'll. Becky, I don't expect either to pitch again this year. So, Jay Johnson never wants to talk about injuries. He feels like it's disclosing some type of competitive advantage. His total prerogative. But I don't think we're going to see Shores or Edwards again this year. Right. I think we are done. Thanks so much for being here. As always, shout out to Brock, the Banners Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing. Quick reminder, Pro Charge, today is what's today? Say the 17th? 18th. Today's the 18th. Today's the 18th. So, end of this month, you have through the month to enter to win one of 3 free EV chargers for your business or commercial building. So, click the pinned link in the chat. And it's literally just fill out your name and your business and blah, 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 whatever. It's 30 seconds. So, click it, fill it out. If you don't own a business or a commercial building, send that link to someone who does. They'll be glad. Okay, thanks for watching. Y'all have an awesome day. We'll see you for AFR 3. Peace.